Okay, Tito. I don't normally agree with you on quite a few things, but honey, I agree with you on this bullshit right here. My community. My community. What in the hell is going on in motherfucking Wisconsin? Now I know love is love, but honey, love does have limitations. And my thing is this. I'm all for the doggone equality of everybody. But honey, I do have my limits when it comes to the children now. And I am so sick and tired of this bullshit by the white LGBTQ trying to bring everything. And it's not even all the white people, but it's some in the GOP. Because my thing is this, Wisconsin, I did some research on this, and even though Wisconsin is a Democratic leaning state, the books and stuff that's being accessed is in a dominant Republican leaning district. And you know, when we think of trafficking and scandals and stuff, you know, there's a constant darn going theme where it's always leaning back to some of these darn on corrupt politicians that and stuff, the bishops and stuff that have conservative Republican values. So it's like everybody's hands dirty up in this shit. And my thing is this. Where is the darn LGBTQ community in darn Wisconsin to call out on this bullshit? Because my thing is this, why is any child accessing a book that's teaching about how to use an app that's only supposed to be for 18-year-olds and up? You supposed to not know how to even get on. You supposed to be strictly 18 and up to use Grindr. So why is we even teaching children how to use the app? Like, once again, I need some doggone explanation behind that. Once again, the app is explicitly for adults only. And it don't take much to doggone learn how to doggone use the app. It's like, it's the same as accessing your email address and stuff. It's like, why do we need a step-by-step book for an 8-year-old? Like, what type of doggone debauchery is this? What type of doggone sick doggone mess is this shit? Where we teach an 8-year-old, and then it's like, once again, they specifically said Grindr. I was like, okay, not that it would have mattered if they would have had some Tinder thrown in the mix or Christian mingle, as T.S. Madison would say, Christian mingle. It's like, why is we teaching the darn going children how to use apps that are specifically, each and every last one of these apps, you're supposed to be 18-year-olds and up? Okay, maybe we might can have this conversation in high school, maybe, you know. By the time you get 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, you might want to educate the people on certain things. I can understand that. But it's like, why is we teaching third graders about the positions and all of this, that, and the third? Like, this is what I don't understand. I understand, you know, teaching the children about the birds and the bees, and some people, based off of their upbringing, are exposed to certain stuff early, and you might want to prep them and shit as far as, you know, the danger signs to look out for of, you know, predators. You know, we want to educate our children on signs of how somebody might be coming on to you. And as a child, you ain't even thinking like that. Certain stuff might go over your head, like somebody constantly rubbing up on your thigh, going slowly up the thigh, but making sure not to go and touch the cookies just yet. Like, it's certain shit that children should be on the lookout for. But it's like, as far as teaching the children different positions and, you know, the condom putting ons and all that, it's like, do we need to know that as soon as the second, third grade? No. Sixth grade, maybe. As far as, you know, and it's sad but true that, you know, they need to learn about the condoms and birth controls and shit by sixth grade. But it's like, third grade, why is we darn gonna putting our children through this in the third grade? And then, and why did we have to lead forth with darn going putting the gay at the forefront of it? Not that any of it is right, because they also, but you know, the fact that they try to demonize a community that's already darn on targeted enough, and trying to put pedophilia on us is just darn on atrocity within its damn self. When we know who's the Pacific group that does this shit is the darn on one. And then this is the thing I don't get. These will be the main ones always trying to pass anti-LGBT legislation between consenting LGBTQ adults. The ones that be darn going signing off on this type of darn on demonic bullshit will darn going to try to deny marriage between two gay men, two women, or whatnot, a trans woman, a gay man, a trans woman, a bisexual man, a trans man and a gay man, a trans man and a heterosexual woman. It's like they tried to darn going ban consenting adults of marriage. They try to limit, the rights that, a LGBT partner has, and try to prevent them from having the same benefits as a cisgender, heterosexual married couple would have. Can't see your darn old loved one in the hospital. And all this bullshit. The doctor has a right to deny giving you service. That they tried to pass that shit in Texas. Where even if you try to go for general a checkup or something, your doctor has the right to darn go and say, I don't want to treat you because of who you are. Even though you took a medical oath to darn gonna treat everybody and not to be a bigot and do no harm. And it's like you supposed to treat everybody with the same courtesy. But we want to darn gonna overlook the medical board of oath code and all this shit in states like Texas. But then meanwhile, y'all want the darn gonna approve of some sort of darn gonna sick shit such as this. And there's not no nationwide outcry on this bullshit. Like, where is the darn gone Democratic Party? Where is the AOCs and shit of the world to call this out? And this is why I say this shit where it's a lot of people in upper establishment that's complicit or oblivious. Because I do believe like the AOCs and shit of the world, they are more so oblivious to this type of situation. But honey, everybody's not oblivious. Honey, there's some people that we hate to darn gone think is, complicit with the get along. But honey, this shit right here is part of a whole bigger picture. Because my thing is this. Ain't nobody on a major scale calling this motherfucking bullshit out. Of darn going educating children, period, about gay dating apps. And then also talking about how to have sex with a dildo. A vaginal sex with a dildo. So they did have some heterosexual teachings up in there. But once again, a child ain't supposed to be able to buy a dildo at all. So it's like, where the child want to get the dildo from? So I'm all here for the abstinence education to a certain extent. But it's like, at the same time though, far as I know, a child cannot buy a damn dildo. So are we somehow encouraging the parent to maybe darn gonna buy the stuff for the children? And this once again goes into a whole deeper part of a conversation. Like, would that be okay? Like, it's one thing to tell your children about the birds and the bees, and we will want our children to be abstinences, but will we also buy our children toys and stuff? Like, now this is where, things get conflicted. Because it's like, well, by the time puberty set it, like, I would not want my 8-year-old daughter knowing about a dildo at the age of 8. Now, by the time puberty sets in, by the time, she's like 14, 15 years old, would I be as opposed to her having a dildo? My women, I got 80% female subscribers, and y'all know I'm a chick with a stick, honey. So I don't know nothing about the poo nah, honey. I am a gold star Child, it was befitting that I got this shirt on, honey. I am a gold star doggone trans girl, honey. I ain't never dabbled up in the poo-na-na, na-na, poo-na-na. I ain't never dabbled in the, so I don't know nothing about the poo-na-na. I just wax it. If you ever in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and you need the kitty cat doggone wax, honey, come see the diva, honey. But that's the closest that diva ever gets to the poo-na-na, honey. We ain't licking, touching, rubbing it down or nothing, honey. I'm the wax on, wax off type of queen. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. Wax, wax, wax. But, honey, we ain't licking none of that, honey. No. Even though Sukiyana darn has the girls out here thinking that us estheticians is giving happy lickings, honey, you come over here asking for a happy licking if you want to. You want to get your darn eyebrows slapped darn clean off your face, honey. We don't do none of that diva shit over here. But as far as your 14-year-old child, now this would be an interesting conversation. I would think that, that could be beneficial for a multitude of things. Number one, it will prep for, the real thing. It won't be as painful because it's like in the black community, we don't want to talk about these subjects. And then it leaves your children, and then being too oblivious and not want to talk about the taboo subject, your children is forced to go out and learn on their own, and then they get caught up in a whole lot of stuff that they could avoid if, parents were more forthcoming, like the Jada Pinkett Smiths and stuff of the world. The Gabrielle Union, well, I don't know if she had to talk with her daughter, because, that's going to be an interesting conversation right there. When Zaya starts to get to date the boys, honey. And teenagers sometimes like to get it in. And her being a trans woman. Now, how's that conversation going to go? Now, I seen that T.S. Madison had the honor of meeting Dwayne Wade recently. And, she done had back and forth tweets. Gabrielle Union praising T.S. Madison. So maybe when that day comes, they might, tap on TS as far as how to deal with that situation. But as far as everyday children and stuff, what do y'all think, y'all? Would you be willing to buy your daughter a dildo? And maybe you can get an instructional DVD video. Like, I don't know if there's a safe non-graphical video that can be purchased, demonstrating, what to do with said dildo and stuff. Because it's like, I would not necessarily want the parent to be hands-on in that, because once again, that gets very incestuous, and it's like, no, we ain't trying to go there in the incestuous route. But I could see the possible benefit of that as far as, the woman knowing how to be comfortable with a private area, and, so that way when the real thing goes there, she knows how to, navigate the guy to how to work it and everything, where it's not it's not a painful experience. Because, the first time always is painful for the receiver, whether it's the bottom, with the guy, or, with the female receiving, especially with black men tending to be on the larger end of the spectrum, when it comes to the downstairs area. And, are we going to elevate? Are we going to buy like a graduating, dildo set? Like, okay, we'll start off with a 6-inch, and we'll work the way up to the 8-inch, and work the way up to the 12. Like, what? If we are going to do that as far as adolescent children, what would be the appropriate age? Me personally, I think high school, damn sure not elementary, under no circumstances, not elementary. And I'm not even thinking of, maybe you might darn tell your daughter what a dildo is, maybe when she darn hits middle school. But I would think that the perfect time to introduce is maybe the start of high school. Now, if you're raising a trans If you're raising a trans daughter, this is where the shit gets even more interesting. Because it's like now, the conversation is going to get real awkward. Because, you know, as the heterosexual dad, and as the mama who might not do the backdoor play, how do you teach your doggone trans daughter about, you know, the play of the back doors and stuff? And, you know, this is where we do need an educator of sorts for these types of topics. So it would behoove, you know, our community to come out with some sort of curriculum or something that is a lot more age appropriate and tailored, where we have these doggone awkward, you know, conversations. Because once again, the conversations need to be had in a healthy way. Because once again, when you leave your children to their own devices, you know, a plethora of stuff can go wrong. You know, they get caught up out here, get sprung up on, you know, the meat, darn going, getting attracted to the first ping they see or the first coot cat. And then that, once again, here's another conversation we need to have. Now, the healthy way to introduce your darn going heterosexual son into certain matters is not by getting a grown woman to molest him. Now, that's one thing I don't believe in. It's like, I understand the thought process of some people saying that, oh, well, that is done so the man don't get caught up with the first, you know, the boy don't get caught up with the first coot cat that he gets with, so you darn gonna buy a prostitute to darn gonna hook up with your 13-year-old son. No, because once again, if that shit was flipped on the reverse and you get a 30-some-year-old man to mess with a 13-year-old girl and talk about, oh, well, you doing it so she don't fall in love with the first darn on BBC she darn on sees. Honey, it would be an uproar. So why in the world in the black community do we justify it for the boys? So my thoughts on that is, maybe when we get to that age for the boys, we might need to buy like a masturbator of sorts that mimics the vagina or what's not. And once again, there might need to be some educational videos attached to said, you know, pocket pussy or whatnot. The teacher, because once again, you know, I'm conflicted because once again, it's inducing adult toys to adolescent children. But I would rather that than this darn foolishness right here of trying to groom children into already knowing how to log into Grindr, which is going to entice them to create accounts and darn going to lie about their age, because the first thing that it tells you is, are you 18? Are you 18 and up? And then of course the child can easily darn going to falsify the date. They don't never verify the shit. They don't ask for your ID or none of that. And then, you know, even though they still look like children and whatnot, they're going to fake like they older. And then these darn old perverts are going to take advantage of the situation. And the school is darn low-key darn egging this shit on by introducing a book that was created by a author of pedophilic nature. Because once again, why in the world would you, I would love to know who this author is, who thought it was okay to introduce a book that is being marketed to third graders of how to use an app that is explicitly used for darn adults. And even though they said it was all apps that they was teaching, once again, Tinder, Christian Mingle, Grindr, Jack, I'm sure there's a lesbian version out there, so y'all tell me what it is. You got plenty of fish. It's like all of them lead to the same thing that children should not need to know. If the goal is to talk about sexual education, sexual awareness, STD prevention, we need to be focusing more on educating the children about all the different types of STDs that are not taught in school. Because there are plenty of STDs that a lot of people don't even know about. But we are only taught about the HIV, the AIDS, the chlamydia, and the crabs. But honey, those are not the only four. There are plenty of different STDs that you need to be aware of. We also need to darn on, even in the high school, educate the people that PrEP don't darn gonna prevent you from darn gonna getting the other ones. Because now we got these young adults out here thinking that, oh, you can raw dog because, oh, I'm on PrEP. Well, PrEP is darn on preventative for HIV transmission. It don't do a damn thing for all the other diseases. Gonorrhea, crabs, darn on chlamydia, the list goes on and on. You name it! So it's like, you being on PrEP, you still need to wrap it up, honey. And that goes for the, darn on that too, honey. You can't do that. See, we like to darn on think that the condom is only for the penetration, but it's also for the as well. Because a lot of people are oblivious to the fact that you can darn on get darn on STDs orally as well. Those are the conversations that the children need to be darn on introduced to. In addition to, maybe we might need to look into some laws that state that, toys of certain things can be brought and given to adolescent children at 13, maybe. Like, and once again, y'all hear me out on this. I'm thinking, once again, my thought process behind this is the child should not still be able to access no adult sites like Adam and Eve and stuff. But I think, if a parent wants to have the sit down talk and maybe purchase said item for their child, like if the said item is found within the, is found on the adolescent's person or whatnot, the child, the parents ain't going to be liable for any types of crimes. Versus right now, if your child is caught with any type of material like that, you got CPS is going to get involved. You got, the FBI, especially if you purchase the product over state lines and all that. You got your police departments and shit. So I do believe maybe we might, if anything, we might need to tweak the laws a little bit where, it would be okay for 13-year-olds and up to be able to be given, dildos and stuff like that to educate them on abstinence and stuff like that. Because once again, if they actually have a replica of a good quality penis or, a pocket pussy or whatnot, they won't feel compelled to go out there and darn going, be quick to darn going go at with the real thing or whatnot. At least that's my thought process on that. It will help curtail, I hope that I'm using that word correctly. It will help, curb, that type of behavior from the children. Because the only reason why they do it is because, once again, they got the hormones and they eventually have to learn about it. And, the black community want to shun away from it. So it just forces the children to naturally do what they naturally want to do on their own. Versus if we had the right type of education and we introduce, adult toys to post-puberty, teenagers, I would think that might, help substantially reduce, pregnancies and, STD transmissions and all these doggone dramas of children hooking up with each other if they doggone properly got a dildo at home or if they got a pocket pussy. Once again, brought by the parents. The parents only have access to the site and all of that. That's because, once again, we don't need the children going out there being able to purchase porn DVDs, which gives an unrealistic view of sex. And then, your child thinks that it's somehow supposed to be natural to be able to last 2-3 hours in the bedroom when they don't understand the process of editing, and that, these clips were taken so many hours apart and stuff, and what was really like a 30-minute scene, what was really an 8-hour scene, they darn going to splice this up into like 30 minutes, and it gives an unrealistic expectation that in the bedroom, that's how you supposed to be. And it's like, no. Totally the opposite. It's like this doggone 30-minute video clip that you think was done in 30 minutes was really done over a course of 8 hours. No. And also, all this doggone, it's just so much unrealisticness with the porn that the children should not be exposed to. There should be something taught in like a college level curriculum within itself. So there's different levels to this. Like, we can start introducing the birds and the bees at 3rd grade. We can start talking about condoms and STD preventions and, you know, different stuff, the spotting stuff at, you know, middle school level. High school level, we might can have the topic of, you know, the dildos and all of that. And maybe even allowing your children to be able to have access to a dildo or, like I said, the replica pocket pussy or what's not. But as far as children in the 3rd grade learning how to access an adult site, no. And as far as 5th graders learning all the different sexual positions, why do a 5th grader need to know about different sexual positions and shit? Like I said, this seems like some grooming behavior that, you know, the government and other high up entities are just complicit with, that are trying to indoctrinate your children to be more susceptible and conditioned to be groomed by doggone pedophiles. That's what it's coming off to me. And I'm not here for it. So, yeah, to my fellow LGBTQ people, sound off down below. To my parents, I don't think I got any cisgender men that watch me, but if you do, honey, we definitely welcome, or any viewers that come across this that are cisgender males, that are heterosexual. Honey, everybody's darn going, I want to know everybody's perspective on this. I want to know the heterosexual father's perspective, my heterosexual women, my lesbian parents, my, you know, my trans parents, the gay parents of children, of straight children or gay children. Honey, I want to know everybody's perspective on this right here. What are y'all thoughts? Leave it down below. Feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see y'all soon with more videos. Mwah.